been about 2 weeks he's been up there now.
Well, no, I'll come in after. It was for me.
Yeah, I got it for you. That's
We've had one every day for the last, not very long. It's great. They're wonderful, aren't they? In some part of town. Yep.
We had a gorgeous one by minus rain. Not one problem.
Is the AC broke or is it just not cooling? What's broke? Is the air broke or is it just not cooling?
Slow? Too small of a unit. It's hours.
I think we should buy a programmable thermostat and then turn it on. Oh, we should get the program.
Fan, at least. We good?
Action thing.
What time is it?
It's after 11.
Oh, let's go.
God by many names, love from many hearts. Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not alone. Welcome home. God by many names, love from many hearts. Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not alone. Welcome home. God by many names, love from many hearts. Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not alone. Welcome home. God by many names,
Says it is, but
love from many hearts.
it's not coming through.
Come inside, you don't have to hide. You're perfect as you are. You're already not
There it
alone.
goes.
Welcome home. You're already not alone. Welcome home. Welcome home, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in St. George, Utah. I almost said Greensboro, North Carolina. I've been everywhere. Anyway, welcome, or once a month, which is getting ready to pick up a little bit. This next song came to me a few years ago when we were going through some changes, looking for a minister that was previous to Joe. And we had some changes, and I dreamt this. So I kind of sing this every time there's a change going on, and right now all over the place there's a lot of changes going on that we're just going to have to live with. But especially in my own life, there's some positive changes going on. So I felt inclined to sing this song today to celebrate it. Please sing along. There's a path that we know many people take, seeking truth and substance unexplained. Setting out on a road that is mostly unknown, sometimes can cause trouble and strain. We set out instead, not knowing what's ahead, and wondering what lies around the bend. And baby, we know that wherever we go, life's eternal and this road has no end. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Now we come together and move along, creating heaven right here at home. We honor the old ways and bless the new. Open our hearts and welcome you. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit calling our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Deep inside we all know if we only let go, that God leads and nothing is here. Slower we go, soon and everything will become clear. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit, all in our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Only one thing remains the same. That's Holy Spirit, all in our name. Honor the mystery, embrace the change. Honor the mystery, embrace the change.
Ellen Stanley, a round of applause, please. An original from an original.
I was on the other line on the phone when he was.
When he wrote that. So it's all Chris. Sorry, we got to give it to Chris.
He likes to take credit for
I
it.
feel like I'm in the middle. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing?
Good.
Excellent. Let's do that a little more. How are we doing? Excellent. I need your energy just like you want some from me, so we're going to share that love. August 2024.
I know.
It's like zip. It's almost like we're doing years at this time and not months. But we're right where we're supposed to be, so welcome. I would like to see if there's anyone here for the first time. We'd like to simply welcome you. Is there anyone? Okay. Would you like to introduce yourself? You don't have to. I don't want to put you on the spot.
I'm Karis.
Karis. And how did you hear about us?
Anna.
It's all Anna's fault? Nice job, Anna. Well done. And
Hi, my name is Steve, and I know Rev Joe from Las Vegas.
absolutely. Thanks for taking the drive up. Thank you. And so, as a welcoming gift, practitioner Sue will give you a Science of Mind magazine. It's an older copy, but it gives you an idea of the teachings. I already know, Steve, you know this, but you can have one. And one of the things you may want to pay attention to, and it's usually right around page 35 to 40, is the what we believe, and that will kind of give you an idea of who and what we are. So, welcome. All right, so moving on. We're going to move right into, did I miss it? I feel like I missed something. Let's say hello to Reverend Rachel. Old will start us off with a kick. It is official. Reverend Rachel is now our staff minister. That is her significant other, David. Welcome, David. So we are growing, folks. We're taking the steps that we need to, and I'll share a little more later. So we're going to move into our lighting the flames of faith ceremony. So I ask you, let's just take a collective breath and settle in. Yes. So we perform the flames of faith ceremony. Before I continue, I changed some wording. I want to see if you can feel the difference. And I would love to, if you did, to let me know afterwards. Okay. We perform the Flames of Faith ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all things, all beings, come from one great universal presence, which we call spirit. We first light the candle of unity, which represents the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. Breathe. We light a candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light a candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light a candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light a candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We now light a candle for Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light a candle for Christianity, honoring Christ's consciousness as the path of love. We light a candle for Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light a candle acknowledging centers for spiritual living and all forms of new thought, the metaphysical path of a personal relationship of healing through the practice of universal spiritual principle. We light the next candle for inclusivity, affirming that those that are seeking a stronger knowing and understanding of divine love are welcome here. There is nothing outside of God. You are welcome here. Lastly, we light the healing candle and invite you to silently offer into the light the names of loved ones or friends, knowing that they are now the perfect expression of Spirit's eternal wholeness and love. Let us just affirm all that's been said by saying, and so it is. Thank you. All right, Alan, take it away.
So we're going to lay back and relax, ponder a little bit, and sing this song by Karen Drucker, and then Christopher's going to get up and offer our invocation for us, and we'll finish off. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be gentle with myself. I will be gentle with myself. And I will hold myself like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will be tender with my heart. I will be tender with my heart. And I will hold my heart like a newborn baby child. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child. I will be easy on myself. I will be easy on myself. And I will love myself like a newborn baby child.
Good morning, everyone.
Point it towards your mouth. Can't hear you. I want to hear you. I don't want you to hear my mouth.
Good morning. I'm going to open us up with an invocation or an affirmative prayer as we know it. I'd like to kind of offer it a little bit different today. I'm going to kind of share with you how I do it often, and that's with my eyes open and observing. So I invite you to take a deep breath, just center yourselves. As we know and we recognize that there is a divine power, there's an energy, there's a flow that comes in through the universe, and it's here, it's present in this room right now. It's in each one of us. I see it in all of your eyes. I see it as you look at me. I see it as we share the love and the knowledge that is the divine. And I recognize it in things that I don't see. I recognize it in things that I know each of us have gone through in our lives. Some very difficult, yet we have gone through them, and here we are. I see it in the air, in the oxygen, in the chairs. I see it in the space between me and you. I see it in the moment that my eyes connect with yours. That divine is present. I see it in everything that has gone to create this service, to bring us each here in knowing the truth. And the truth is no matter what, invite each of you to know that with us. And I know today's talk with Rev Joe is going to be powerful. It's going to touch on many things. But we each have this, and we're each going to grow from it. So in all this knowing, I have to feel nothing but gratitude. Gratitude for all of you here. I am so grateful, and I know that this is the truth. And I let today's service go, and I just let it be, knowing that each of us is going to take what it is we came here to receive. And I let it be by saying, and so it is.
So it is. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. I will only go as fast as the slowest part of me feels safe to go. Now I know I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself, and I hold myself like a newborn baby child. I am gentle with myself. I am gentle with myself, and I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I wrap myself like a newborn baby child. And I hold myself like a newborn baby child. And I love myself like a newborn baby child.
Hi, it's me again.
I mean,
So, when we're asked to do the reading on Sundays, we did do a little bit of research. And knowing that the topic today was Trauma 101, I was like, ooh, what is my reading going to be? And then I had to self-reflect and find out what was the most traumatic parts and times in my life. And then I thought, 101, I'm at about 6,575 as far as trauma goes. But, the biggest trauma in my life, the biggest times in my life were actually right prior till I found CSL. And it was the time of AIDS. And I was losing all my friends. I was a young man in my 20s. and every single person I knew was sick and then eventually died. And it was very traumatic. And I do bless this teaching because it was my volunteering for the AIDS Project Orange County that led me to CSL. And it was the guys that were dying that had these beautiful attitudes and forgiveness. So anyway, I went and saw Louise Hay, and then I decided to go. She wasn't at a CSL church, but I wanted to go to a CSL church if that's where they were getting this kind of life-affirming attitude. And when I walked in, there was a band with 3 guys. 2 of them obviously had AIDS, and the one main guy's name was David Alt, and he's now Reverend Dr. David Alt. I need to grab my drink. I always break the rules. But anyway, I found this reading, so I decided to read it. And it reads, that's actually what it's called, is A New Pledge by David Alt. And it says, I pledge allegiance to the expression of my spiritual honesty. I fully own the fact that my presence here in this body and on this earth is a celebration of uniqueness and importance. Creation makes no mistakes. I am creation of life, of a higher power, of perfection. My reason for being here matters in the grand divine plan. I must be honest with my contract of life and walk the path of my destiny with conviction, purpose, and grace. I pledge allegiance to the quiet soldier within. I understand that the champion spirit that is already cellularly alive inside me, that was already in place at the time of my birth, waits patiently for my current belief about myself to join in its knowing. Sorry, I'm running out of breath.
You don't have to rush, just breathe.
Okay, breathe. It's very lovely what I'm about to read. I pledge allegiance to the partnership with the divinity. I choose to see others and myself from eyes that already view the wholeness and perfection within. I do not entertain our past damage or encourage us to identify with it, for I trust that a grander calling card has been printed for us, distributed in promoting our lives. I champion all of us to celebrate what is working rather than what isn't. I pledge allegiance to wise discernment, knowing when to speak and when to remain quiet, knowing when to comfort and when to leave alone, knowing when to intervene and when to avoid rescuing and interfering. I pledge allegiance to the people, projects of substance. I cannot travel this road alone. If there is anything we as species need, it is each other. I actively choose to support those whose work I believe in with my time, talent, and treasure. I joyously give to those whose intention and purpose is for self-empowerment and the awakening of humanity to its personal magnificence. I rally to make others aware of such light bearers and do what I can to support them in furthering their vision. I pledge allegiance to the freedom from compassion and comparison. I once and for all lay down my wearisome stale beliefs of unworthiness and not being good enough. I know that my past does not define who I am. I am forever evolving, growing, and learning. I recognize that I am a marvel. I now choose opportunities to let my voice be heard, to let my light shatter the darkness of futility so that every personal dream is explored. I don't know how to breathe when I read. Okay. Yeah, like that. I pledge allegiance in knowing that things are not always as they seem. Just because something can't be seen with the physical eye or rationalized by our current mode of understanding does not negate its existence. Understanding the difference between reality and illusion, I move into a fuller acceptance of the non-physical, the mystical, intuitive soul aspect of living that expands my consciousness and deepens my days. I pledge allegiance to actions that fulfill the greatest good for all by becoming its gatekeeper of compassion, tolerance, and love. I move into fuller conviction of pure intent with regard to the words that I speak and the choices that I make. I pursue a win-win in all activities of life. I pledge allegiance to those who have gone before me, the ancestral lineage whose courage, sacrifice, and conviction still live in my bones. I honor the privilege given to me today because of the sweat from the pioneering efforts and the fortitude of their convictions. I give thanks for my responsibility in creating the same for future generations. I pledge allegiance to the love that has no agenda. I no longer choose to give for what I might get, to manipulate in order to control, to abandon before I can be abandoned, to tolerate because there are seemingly no other options. I choose to love as a way of being. I am content in my choice whether outside circumstances respond or not. In being love, I create fulfillment above, beyond, and what the human condition can provide. I pledge allegiance to the sacredness of laughter, that the greatest healing force that exists reverberates from the vibration of this holy and irreplaceable gift. I allow humor, joy, and eruptions of laughter to make their home in my heart. I let my physical body respond to the sacred stimulus and biological wonder what laughter creates, and vow to keep this attribute alive and thriving in all days of my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. So I want to thank all of you for letting me do this. It's turning into years now, but it got to the point I was running out of material, because you got to think you're doing over 100 songs a year. And so I requested some help, and we got some help from the Central in Denver with the recommendations like this gentleman, Karen Drucker song for today. And then I started getting requests. The first request was a song sang by a frog and Kermit, Rainbow Connection. And then a Judy
Alan?
How do you feel, Christopher?
I feel good.
I feel good. Like I knew I would. I feel good. Like I knew I would. So good. So good. I got you. I feel nice. Like sugar and spice. Oh, I feel nice, like sugar and spice. So nice, so nice, I got you. When I hold you in my arms, I know I can do no wrong. And when I hold you in my arms, my love won't do you no harm. I feel nice, like sugar and spice. I feel nice, like sugar and spice. So nice, so nice, I got you. When I hold you in my arms, I know I can do no wrong. When I hold you in my arms, my love won't do you no harm. I feel nice, sugar and spice. I feel nice, sugar and spice. So nice, so nice, I got you. I feel good, like I knew that I would. Oh, I feel good, like I knew I would. So good, so good, I got you. So good, I got you.
Thank you. Round of applause one more time. Lift it up. High energy. Thank you, Alan. Woo. Folks, I'm sitting today because we're going to talk about trauma. And if you were here last month when we were talking about perfectly imperfect, and I got sick the night before, life gave me a perfect opportunity to practice what I preach, as they say. And it happened again. So the first thing, going backwards, is awareness. We're talking about trauma, and you can raise your hand if you've never experienced trauma before. Exactly. So if there's something that triggers you today, helps you, brings up emotions within you, if you would all just turn around and look at the back row of our center right now, we have 4 spiritual coaches. Well, one of them is pretending back there, not the guy in the glass, but we're here to serve you, okay? And we want to make sure that you understand this is a community where we don't just do it by ourselves. We need each other. And at any time, if you feel the need to, please go up and receive some help. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. So, trauma. I had a good friend pass away Friday that was completely unexpected. She was 68, and for those of us that are maybe 20 or under, that's old, probably. But for those of us that are a little older, not so old. She just retired maybe 2 years ago. Had a whole career serving the police department, and was living a good life of retirement, and got sick, and within a week she passed. I didn't find out till Friday, so I was just grateful that I had the opportunity to say goodbye and to support her brother, who's my best friend. And it's hard. Now, I would say that all my life I've dealt with a ton of death, and it usually doesn't really, I kind of know how to process it by now. But things change sometimes, and I'm still grieving. Obviously, you're like, well, it's only been a couple days, but usually I kind of take the side, well, you know, it's spiritual, she's in a good place, and she's back, she's not suffering, she really didn't suffer very long. But there's a part of me that says, screw all that, I'm in pain. And more so for me, honestly, I feel for her brother, my best friend, because he's now literally the last one of the family. His parents died both within the last 8 years, and his older brother passed away, lived a hard life. So trauma is real. So there's a thing, I'm a school counselor for those of you that don't know, and there's a thing that's kind of new, and they're called ACEs, just like the deck of cards, ACE, A-C-E, which stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And the idea, for example, it could be something where you lived through poverty or had a medical trauma. You might have lived through war, any kind of abuse of yourself, and this is for yourself or within the community, the culture, the household that you live within. And so obviously, the more that we go through, the more trauma we have built up inside of us. And I don't know about you, but I don't know too many people that necessarily go and get help for trauma. We kind of just say we learned from it and we move on, but we haven't really taken that time to go within. And Science of Mind absolutely offers a foundation of principles that support us, that help facilitate our healing, that provide people to guide us, classes to guide us, workshops, even the music, if you listen to the lyrics, is all about healing. And not only that, well, and just in the way that we pray, affirmative prayer, is designed to, again, promote healing and also wholeness. And that's one of the things is when we're suffering, we tend to feel like we're doing it alone. Even if people are helping us, we feel like just human nature, that nobody else can understand how we feel. And in essence, you're right, no one else can feel what you're feeling. And yet there is a collective pain that we all feel. So Ernest Holmes says, matter of factly, we are not so cold-blooded as to say to a person with pain that there is no such thing as pain. that is not our idea of purpose. We admit the fact. It is quite a different thing to admit its necessity. Now, that's not blame. Okay? We recognize, and so did others' homes, that we're living a human experience. We're spiritual beings, but we're having this time where we're free to live the full range of emotions. In a different quote, and I didn't want to provide too many, but he also said, we don't say to the person with a broken arm that it's not broken. Right? We're with you in your pain. That is a fact that the arm is broken. Whether or not we know that you come from wholeness and perfection, and that there's a divine blueprint and a mental equipment, la 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 la. In this moment, you are in pain, and that's what we serve. That we best serve, yes, holding within ourselves your perfection, your truth. But we deal with the person who is in pain. Okay? I can't, that's too highlighted too much. As a spiritual being and as a spiritual community, we are not here to diminish or disregard each other's pain, is what I wrote in an exclamation part. So that can be tough, because there's times when we recognize people are doing it to themselves, but of course they're doing it unconsciously. For example, addiction. Why don't you just quit? It's so easy. Just stop doing what's hurting you. That doesn't help them, and in essence, it's our really way out of getting out of the situation. Ernest Holmes also says this, and I actually don't have too many quotes today, I don't think, anyway, and I did that on purpose. We cannot demonstrate beyond our ability to mentally embody an idea. The argument is between our experience, what the world believes, and what we are convinced is the truth. So we may even say we know what's true, and yet still be ignorant of truth with a capital T. Because how many of us give power to our circumstances and say that's true? Well, it's true. I don't have enough money at the end of the month, so how am I supposed to, and go on. How, I can't heal myself. That's true. I can prove a whole lifetime. And you can have arguments, you can have discussions, but it's recognizing the fact that, my favorite saying, right? People are doing the best they can with what they have and where they're at. And one of the most valuable gifts about being a spiritual community comes with really just acknowledging, I said that right, and being with others on this journey of life. And that it's not always easy, and it's not always at the same time difficult. But we're here to support each other together. And if there's anything I'm going to do as your spiritual leader, is promote that in everything that we do as CSL St. George. That we're a community with more or less no agenda other than to spread love, healing, and wholeness. Period. In the science of mind, we're taught to turn away from conditions. And what we simply mean by that is we recognize that the power that we call God or Spirit, or whatever your word for that is the only truth, and that what we hold in our mind is what tends to show up in our lives. So if I'm thinking a lot of angry thoughts, I'm going to have people, places, experiences show up in my life to say, this is what you want, here you go. And we know this, and yet there's places where we don't know this. It's hard. It's hard to go to God as perfect wholeness and love and joy and beauty when we're in pain, especially when, or somebody else is in pain, right? And I want to make sure that trauma doesn't necessarily mean we're going through it, right? It might be a situation that I have to deal with where students are struggling with abuse of their other parents in their household and they don't know how to help. That's trauma. And so the science of mind is a philosophy that is meant to connect us, to inspire us, to motivate us, and promote the idea of wholeness, that there is one power, one mind, one life, and that is truth. And everything else is the human part of us that has filters on within us. In other words, it's like it's a perfect window when we're not messing it up, but we tend to mess it up, and it's not what we're doing. We're doing it through loving ignorance, as I will call it, through living. And that's what we've come here to do. To, I guess, experience God within every aspect that we can while we're here. So if we come from this place of wholeness and it's whole and perfect all the time, complete, we wouldn't even know what it's like to, in essence, feel as an individual, would we? Are we good so far? Okay. Ram Dass, I don't know if you're familiar with Ram Dass is, and I won't go on it, but he has a lot of excellent wisdom to share. And as a center, as a philosophy, I think this fits perfectly. He says, love everyone. We're all just walking each other home. The quieter you become, the more you can hear. And that is something that we overlook quite often. In my job every day, as a counselor, I listen to what's being said, and more so I listen to what's not being said. Okay? And when we learn to do that, particularly with ourselves, say something, the most positive thing you can think of, and then look in the mirror and say it, and see if that equals the energy that you thought you were saying it with. Is your body reacting to something as simple as, I love you dearly? How does that come out? How does that feel? And if we can't do that to ourselves, when I say it to somebody else, is maybe the trauma that I've already been through kind of pulling that down? In other words, stealing the joy and the love that I think I have, in essence, from me. So how does trauma affect us? Again, going back to this idea of the ACEs, in essence, we use it kind of as a score. The more ACEs, again, adverse childhood experiences, the more that one has, the more, in essence, red flags there are, the more things that we talk to them about. And it's shown, just research shown that the more you have, the more likelihood you are to struggle physically, mentally, and even with your career choices and so forth, unless you deal with that with a therapist or a counselor or a spiritual coach. Yet, we are, it is emphasized that these people are not broken. Okay? They are not, we're not labeling them. This is an experience they've gone through, but often we tend to label things and then only see what we do that is honestly limit our ability to see the divine in everything and every experience, and we're not really supporting them, are we? So again, as a community, everything that we do will be a journey together. And let's keep in mind that trauma is relative. What I may describe as trauma, or you may describe as pain, is different to everybody. And let's not can have an attitude where we're going through a hard time and taking it light. For example, there was a guy, we'll call him Joe, and he was in a town that was flooding. And of course, they put several messages on the radio and the TV that please get out of town, and he just refused to because his God was going to save him. And he was very stout in faith that that was going to happen. And the water rose, and so he had to go up to the second story, and he did that. And he just claimed, in spite of the power being out now, that he would be saved. And he knew this in his heart. And so now he's up on his roof. And his neighbors come by in the canoe, and they're like, Joe, come on, it's not going to get better. It's supposed to rain for days. And he's like, God will save me. So they leave. And just a short time later, here come the firemen, and they're on a motorboat. And they're on the megaphone, like, please, come with us. You're in danger. And he shouts at the top of his lungs, my God will save me. Finally, an hour later, he's standing on the chimney. That's all he's got left. And a helicopter comes. And he turns that down too. And he dies. He drowns. And so he finds himself standing at the pearly gates with St. Peter. And he's pissed. He's like, St. Peter, what am I doing here? I have been, a steadfast person of my faith. I've served. Where was God? And St. Peter says, he sent you a canoe, a motorboat, and a helicopter. What else do you want? Right? So we have to take steps. Sometimes they're obvious. Sometimes we have to have people help us point out the obvious. But in essence, also, let's switch back to ideas of being here in our community. Oftentimes we notice, it's really easy to notice somebody's physical pain when they're going through something. They're walking with a gimp, they have a back pain, they're sitting funny like me today. Or even if we know a little something about them. But again, nobody raised their hand here when I said who hasn't gone through trauma. So often our pain is not something that we can see. And let's keep that in mind as we're dealing with someone. I try to remind myself that of when somebody cuts me off in traffic. And I use this example for myself and others because I've been known to chase people down off freeways and let them know how I thought. And but I heard it one day ask me, well, what if you chase this person down? And they looked at you and they cut you off, they put you in harm's way, and you chase them down and you're following them. And what if they don't even realize it? And you follow them and they pull into a hospital. And then they get in the parking spot, run out and run into the emergency room. Would that change your mind about what they just did to you? Would that maybe shut your ego down? And my answer was absolutely. So I try to remember, I don't know what someone's going through. They could be looking right at me, even if they're flipping me off. I have no idea. But I want to be a person of love. I want to be a person that helps somebody else remember that it's not all about pain, because if you look at the news, it's all about pain. It's all about separation. It's all about competition, for the most part. Okay, so we have to do our work. We have to treat what we know as our trauma. Many of us could write a list down, and I promise you there's things that won't show up until you start peeling away the onion skins, as they say. So this month is Unstatus Quo. In other words, we're going to do things differently. And so in order to be called to breaking what's the status quo, we have to allow ourselves to use the word healing in our own life more often. And recognize, it's okay to feel the way you feel. You're not wrong for that, and I don't care if you're going through the same thing you went through when you were 5. But healing is available to you. And what healing is freedom. Ernest Holmes talked about it as freedom from all discord as our ultimate goal. Now, I don't know if we'll ever get there. I'm trying. But it's one thing at a time. One trauma at a time. One fault. One poor value at a time. So many people have experienced trauma within their spiritual centers, within their religious institutions. So we're going to talk about it, folks. I know there's people that have been through some other places, and we look up to people who are in religious and higher places, and they have hurt people. And as a Roman Catholic, I will say the Catholic Church has still not done an adequate job of healing those that they hurt. Now, I don't believe they set out to do that as a whole, but obviously we know they got caught in a cover-up, and it needs to be amended. What I want to share with you, matter of fact, I know a minister well who was at a minister's gathering in South Carolina a few years ago and was called the N-word. Now he's black. And he was called the N-word by another minister of CSL. And I can see, like, how could you do that? You're a minister. You have the R-E-V before your name. That makes you absolutely perfect. But it doesn't, because some of us don't know what we don't know. That's why it's so important. Now, of course, this person shared it with me to help me understand, too, about prejudices and biases, that if we don't really look at it, and we're not willing, it's not fun, let's admit it. It's not fun to go, oh, there's a crack in my armor. This person also, within the next a year or two afterwards, was referred to as boy. Again, a black male. And this was at a convention in Mexico. Again, ministers of our faith. Now, I say that not to go, oh, but look, we all we all have trauma. I don't know what those people went through, and I'm not judging those ministers. I'm going to be honest with you, because I'm not perfect. Okay? And whether it was the N-word or another word, any word that is spoken in hate or to hurt is bad. Let's just say it that way. If it's not spoken in love, then we have work to do. While we're in the spiritual community, I'm asking us as we grow, if we're going to grow, and we talk about welcoming all here, then we have to also be aware of some limitations. How did I word it here? I want to make sure I say it right. So I wrote, although we say we are welcoming and inclusive, we often expect others to fit into the culture and norms of our community. So for example, because this happened at our previous center, not everybody is a hugger. I'm a hugger. I want to hug you. I want to love on you. But what if that person's, we don't really give them an opportunity to say no. Now I do. Because I've learned that I was hugging someone who really doesn't like it. And I wasn't the only one, but it was brought to our attention. Maybe they went through trauma. Whatever their reason is, let's honor and respect their experiences of life, because we know we all haven't been through that. So I am going to ask everybody that before we just simply walk up and even maybe shake a hand, I asked, I said, you a hugger? Can I hug you? And if it's no, say thank you. Perfect. I just want to welcome you. Because in essence, that's what we're trying to do, but let's not be so caught up in our normal way of doing it. So the words that I'm looking for is to become trauma-informed. And simply, again, pay attention to how people are showing up. A lot of people that walk through the doors of CSL feel broken, feel hurt, feel like they're in lack, and we're here to be the beacon. Now, you may not be in a place to be that beacon of love. That's okay. But we want everybody who walks through the door, including me. I'm hurting, and yet I feel absolutely comfortable sharing that with you. Not just because I'm your spiritual leader, okay? Because I'm human, and I feel loved here. I feel accepted here, and I want everybody who walks through our doors to feel that, yes? Yes. Amen. So being trauma-informed looks like this. I'm just going to give you a couple examples. This may mean always asking somebody, again, before we hug them, if it's that's okay. Practice saying thank you when somebody simply says no to a request. Hey, would you do this for me? No. Now, usually my response is, but I'm working on thank you. Not pressuring people into volunteering. Yeah, we need volunteers, people, so that doesn't mean you can't. You're going to hear that announcement later. But I want to make sure that if you're asked to do something, and it's as my mentor says, if it's not a whole body hell yes, then it's not for you. Okay? We're not here, to make other people, to please other people in essence, right? If we're in a place of service, absolutely. But not for our ego. We're going to, as a spiritual leader, we continue to educate and train our leaders, and if you're a volunteer, we will be doing trainings for you. that way again. When people show up, they get the love from the whole feeling of being here. Whether it's somebody who's doing the soundboard, or a meet and greet, or someone handing out the names, or doing food, all of that, okay? So that we're all coming from a place of love. One of the things it's kind of a little more difficult here, but we have a back row because not everybody wants to sit up front and be in the crowd. Some people are more isolated. We want them to know that that's okay. So these are just some ideas about being trauma informed. And you know, if we reach out to say hello to someone and maybe they're not responding the way we like, we're like, hey, welcome to CSL St. George, and they're just going, hey, welcome. You know, if there's anything I can do, let me know. So this is not only going to help us individually and help them individually, but help us grow as a community. I'm going to read, how am I doing at time? Well, I don't care today, sorry. You're staying. Sorry, I love y'all, but I've already been told before I even got here, Spirit's like, just do your thing, Joe. So I'm doing my thing. Stick with me. I'm going to read something to you. Now, this is a book, if you don't know, Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul. Yeah, that's true, I know. And if you don't have it, we'll be doing a class or a book on it. This book changed my life. It's one of the absolute books that changed my life. It was second year of prac, is that correct? Yes. And I'm going to read to you the part. It's going to take 4 minutes, as fast as I can read it, so hang in there. But I promise you, if you listen, it will help change your life. I promise that. Because it's something, again, that's universal. And the chapter, so you can see it. There you go. That's the book. If you're online. Are we online, or did we? Areas requiring change is how we solve our personal problems. We normally attempt to solve our inner disturbances by protecting ourselves. Real transformation begins when you embrace your problems as agents for growth. In order to understand how this process works, let's examine the following situation. Imagine that you have a thorn in your arm that directly touches a nerve. When the thorn is touched, it's very painful. Because it hurts so much, the thorn is a serious problem. It's difficult to sleep because you roll over on it. It's hard to get close to people because they might touch it. It makes your daily life very difficult. You can't even go for a walk in the woods because you might brush the thorn against the branches. This thorn is a constant source of disturbance. And to solve the problem, you only have two choices. The first is to look at your situation and decide that since it's so disturbing when things touch the thorn, you need to make sure nothing touches it. The second choice is to decide that since it's so disturbing when things touch the thorn, you need to take it out. Believe it or not, the effects of the choice will make all the will determine the course of the rest of your life. This is one of the core level structural decisions that lay foundations for your future. Let's begin with the first choice and explore how it will affect your life. If you decide you have to keep things from touching the thorn, then that becomes the work of a lifetime. If you want to go for a walk in the woods, you'll have to thin out the branches to make sure they don't brush against them. Since you often roll over and touch the thorn when you sleep, you'll have to find a solution for that as well. Perhaps you could design an apparatus that acts as a protective device. If you really put a lot of energy into it and your solution seemed to work, you could say that you've solved your problem. You see, I can sleep now. So now you got a whole life built around this thorn, and you're proud of it. You keep the woods thinned out, and you wear your apparatus to bed, but now you have new problems. You fell in love. This is a problem because in your situation, it's hard to even hug. Nobody can even touch you because they might touch the thorn. So you design another kind of device that allows closeness amongst people without even actually touching you. Eventually you decide to want total mobility without having to worry about the thorn anymore. So you make a full-time device that doesn't have to be unwrapped at night, or changed over for hugging or other daily activities. But it's so heavy, you put wheels on it, cart it around with you. It's actually quite an impressive device. Okay, I'm going to stop there because there's a little more. I think you get the idea. Now when I read this, it came to me very quickly because I meditated on it. So when I was born, I had a cleft palate and a cleft lip. So if you don't know what that means, when you're in the womb, your face grows together like this, and my lip and my palate didn't come together. So you've probably seen those people who have scars, or actually there's the Smile Train, you see the commercials on TV, send them money, because it's a simple operation. So I grew up with that. I was bullied all my life. Obviously I grew through it. I took some ways to deal with it that weren't necessarily positive, but here I am. And all my life I've been rather outgoing. It's just who I've been. Never really thought about it. And after I read that, it would hit me like a ton of bricks. Why did I choose to become outgoing? And the answer was to protect my thorn. I didn't want to be picked on. I didn't want to be called names. I didn't want to stand out for all the wrong reasons back then. And you know, when you're in school, social life is everything. And this was all the way through high school because people are ignorant. And so I realized that I have been outgoing because I'm a nice outgoing guy and lively and energetic. I was protecting myself. Because if I put myself out there on my terms and it went wrong, okay, I'm in control still. I can say, oh, I was just joking, or, got you, or one of the other many times that I did that. It was easy to protect myself. And that, to be honest with you, and it may seem small, but I didn't know that. Now I'm outgoing because I choose to be outgoing, but I also allow myself to let that label go, right, and just be myself. That's trauma that I was carrying with me, and I had no idea. That was when I was a kid. Holy cow, right? Let it go. Get over it. What was I, in my 40s when I was reading this book? No idea. So I share that with you because maybe if you take the time, you'll realize, I don't care how young or how old you are, that there's still something, there's still a thorn in your side. And we have built this whole apparatus so nobody touches it, so nobody triggers it. And let's be honest, it hurts when they do until we remove it. That's trauma. So again, everybody has trauma, and most of it is unresolved trauma. And I'm going to get through this as fast as I can. I love you all, and I'm sweating too, so stick with me. Just a quick quote here, make sure that when we don't allow ourselves to acknowledge the pain, the deep, agonizing soul pain that results from historical trauma, we aren't able to recognize that we all carry some measure of that pain within us. And it may not even be, here's the other part of it is, we may be carrying somebody else's pain that they've resolved. For example, I have a friend who watched his mother get beaten most of his life, and that still holds him back because mom's did her work, right? She moved on, she got divorced, she's done her therapy, and yet he's still holding that pain. He was affected by it. Run through these things here. All right, so this comes from Mark Nepo, another great author. He says, the truth is that telling, speaking about it, heals. Not just once, but as a way of being that filters in the heart of its debris. And one of the best ways I can suggest to help us is talk with our spiritual coaches and take classes. The best thing you can do, okay, to help support each other. And then taking a similar quote from, again, Michael Singer, the author of the book I just read, he says, the truth is, and I love this, that everything will be okay as soon as you are okay with everything. That's the only time everything will be okay. All you have to do is stop expecting the mind to fix what's wrong inside of you. In other words, we have to be fully, the being and the doing, balanced. Everyone deserves to be treated with kindness, grace, compassion, and going back to what Ram Dass says, let's walk with each other all the way home. Can we do that?
Yes.
Amen. All right, so again, if you need help, and I know I didn't get too tidy or specific, but if there's something within you that even you just choose to want to work on, please let us know. And we have our practitioners, I like to call them spiritual coaches, who will help you through that. So, take a deep breath. We know all is well in this moment. Let's do our affirmation, and we'll end it on prayer. So, may I ask everybody to stand? We're going to say it together. We're going to do it twice. The first time because it always takes a minute, practice, effort, and then we'll get our energy up. So, we'll count us down. 3, 2, 1.
As I heal, I reveal the truth of love that was hidden in all.
One more time. 3, 2, 1.
As I heal, I reveal the truth of love that was hidden in all.
And so it is. So let's just know as we're standing here, I'm going to take a thing from Chris today and keep my eyes open. Let us just know that healing is present. And healing is the recognition of what we call the Christ consciousness, that you are the divine in human form. That is what all the wise teachers, all the sages and prophets and whatever you want to call them have said and taught. That if God is everything, then there is nothing outside of God. So we take that within our very being and know it to be true for us. And no matter what thought of lack comes up to say no, we love it and we release it because it is not our truth. Our truth is that we are the love of the divine. The truth is that there is only one mind and that we are open to the infiniteness that it is. Everything is possible. We make it probable through our choices. And we choose as a community to support each other with whatever we're going through, to help others get the help they need, to help ourselves feel more whole, more unified, more included, more loved. And so it is. Thank you. Have a seat, please. All right. Just the law of giving and receiving. So if you've already given, or you're giving today, or you don't have anything, that is quite all right, because there's more than money. We do have affirmation cards. I bought some new ones, so if you haven't taken a look in a little while, please take a look. And the idea is to take that positive thought with you throughout the week, and whenever it is you feel like you've had enough of it, pass it on. Give it to somebody else. Inspire them, motivate them. And the other thing is to let you know that we are doing well financially. And we are saving all that you give us. One, of course, we need operation costs. But in our mind, we're in our new place. Understand that the money we have is making money. We are very good stewards of that financially. We know we are prosperous. We know we are abundant. And it's just a matter of time, right? We've planted that seed in the divine mind for our own center. So know that we will be ready. So everything that you continue to contribute is going towards that community that we all want to have, that has everything that we talk about and is aligned with our purpose, vision, and mission. So we're going to allow you, if you're new or not, we have a bowl over there, a giving bowl. That's also where the affirmation cards are. And there's envelopes all around you. And we're going to listen to a little bit of music. Oh, you wanted to share something?
Oh, yeah.
We have a testimony. I was told that word might frighten some people, but we have a good example of how the law works.
I believe this. I had a guitar that I ordered online, and it just didn't fit. Called it my sweetie for a while, but it just didn't. So I put it up for sale because I entertained around town, and I need a new mixer board. And I had that mixer board spotted, and the guitar was just set. Took like 2 months for this thing to sell on consignment, and it's sold. And I'm like looking on the Guitar Center site at the mixer board, and oh, I'm gonna order. In the meantime, a good friend of mine that I work with is a single mom, and one of her youngest son came up with some kind of frontal lobe. A medical condition. They had to air flight him to Salt Lake. And they've been up there 3 weeks. And she had just got her car fixed, barely made that. She's staying at the McDonald house up there. and doing that, but going through this stuff with her son's named Lincoln. And, you know, the bills don't quit coming. So it entered my mind, you know, well, okay, she's pleading, she needs financial help. And here I had that amount of money I was going to buy the mixer with. And I didn't give it a lot of thought, but I'll have to be honest with you, it did enter my mind. I sure would like to have that mixer. But I Venmo'd the money to her, all of it. And I don't regret that at all. The next day, a friend of mine came over and goes, oh, by the way, I have a mixer board I've decided to give to you that's equally as good, if not better, than the one that I was going to buy. This stuff really works.
Thank you. Are we online? Okay. I just want to thank everyone. I love you too. I want to thank everybody online too. So, love you. And I'm going to have Rev Rachel bless the offering.
So let's all take a deep breath in together and release. So knowing that God is all there is, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-present, knowing that God is the energy of the flow, the truth, the knowingness. We are so very grateful knowing that the truth of receptivity is present right here and right now. That as we bring in, we allow to flow out. So in this stewardship of the blessings of these funds, we know that we are doing exactly what needs to be done, that all is divinely guided, that as we receive, we give, and it is beautiful. And in this truth, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
So it is. All right. Thank you. Chris, you're up for announcements. Christopher. I got it.
All right, prayer requests as usual, you can go to CSLSG.org. If you want a specific practitioner, click on their picture and it will take you to a link to their email, and then just email and say that you'd like some prayer. Was this the time for
Yes.
Tim?
Yep.
We have a special announcement from Tim. About Switchpoint. I went, it was pretty cool.
Hello, everybody. I just wanted to take this opportunity to do a general thank you. And in line with today's thoughts, Switchpoint is in the business of dealing with trauma and helping people through their trauma. And although there's 1,000 different reasons for it, everybody has some common needs, and one of them is to eat. And that's what we do to try and produce a nice meal for folks. So we've had about 20 people from this group sign up as interested, and we have 10 people committed to do 2 meals in the month of August. And we've had about 12 go through a couple of tours of the center. So we've had some wonderful response from this group. And we just want to say thank you. In case some of you have not yet intended to sign up and didn't do it, we have one more date on the table. If we get some people, we'll do it. If not, it's no pressure. But thank you all for your interest, and I think it's a great cause for us. Thank you.
All right, which leads us right into the next announcement, which is September 8th, and we're asking for people to come with school supplies for the kids at Switch Point. There'll be details of that in our newsletter. And I hope if anyone's new, what?
Go ahead.
Why are we getting up?
Because I have a special announcement.
Oh, it's time for a special announcement. Take it over, Joe.
Okay, so first, I have a couple requests to, as an update of my son, so I'll do that really quickly. My son's in the Marine boot camp. He's at week 7 or 8, right? So he's actually 7. So he's going from San Diego to Pendleton this month to get arms training and so forth. He knows very well our faith, and he has used it. His whole goal was to go in and be a leader. He had that opportunity to what's called a guide, so that would be the leader of his platoon. He got the opportunity, and 5 days later got pneumonia because they did water training, and apparently a lot of people were just worn out, and it was going around, and so unfortunately he lost that. But then a week later, he got another letter said they gave it back to him because you have to be there, and when he had pneumonia, he was like separate. He couldn't train at all. So he got that back. He's doing very well. I don't know how, but every time he keeps telling us that it's easy. He says the hardest part is being away from the family. So it just shows where he's at mentally and physically. We will be seeing him. He will graduate on his birthday, September 12th. So we will be going up there after the in-person service. So thank you for your continued thoughts and prayers. Now, come here, please. Well, you're part of this. So, as we mentioned, we have Reverend Rachel now officially as our staff minister. And right after we got done meeting and doing her what's called letter of call, which is like a contract in essence, Spirit kind of slapped me with an idea that I let sit for a while. And that idea I proposed to the board. And we, as of October, are going to go to 2 in-person services, because I will take one, Reverend Rachel will take the other, so pretty much every other direction. We are continuing to evolve in the way and growth, and I know she's on board 100%. She will be, and if I know you don't know her that well, she will be talking in 2 weeks. And then talking again in September, not part of the in-person service, because there's things we have to do to get in line. But then as of October, the 4th week of October, she will be doing another in-person service. So our community will be together even more. And I want to thank everyone there and here, because we all are making this happen, right? One mind. And the more we feed that mental equivalent, I love that word, the mold that we're saying this is what we want, we say yes to, and of course, Spirit says yes as well. Yes. So thank you, each and every one of you. We're doing great, and that's our special announcement. Yay! So, I know we're all hot. Thank you for standing here. I will talk to them about the air because I'm dripping as I'm standing here. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I think we're DO&E.
So we need more volunteers.
Yes. Yes. So as I mentioned, you won't be forced to volunteer. It does take volunteers to make this happen. We're talking, just pretty much the time that we need here. We start at 10 o'clock and set up and
9:30.
9:30. Okay. Well, that may all be changing too. We're trying to actually make it so we can come in maybe Saturday evening, so we're not stressed out Sunday. We're asking for your help. That's all. Online too. Email us if you would like to do that. We would love to expand that. And you know what, folks? Continue to. It's that time of year. People are getting back to the routines. Invite them in. Right? Karis, thank you. Stephen, thank you for making the ride and drive. And we know, and I know August is a huge month, so I don't look at our numbers super tightly all the time. August is usually the lowest month of the year, right around, depending on December, of where everybody's going to go on vacation. So I'm not concerned at all. I know we're growing. And can you feel it?
Yes. Yeah.
That's all I care about, right? It doesn't have to be seen the unseen. You have a quick thing, Sue?
Sign-up sheet is on the table.
Thank you very much. All right. I think Ellen, there we go. We talked about that. I'm going to be honest with you. First of all, I don't care about the word sex, but I just going to talk to Spirit. We may do another week on trauma. We'll see, or at least a response to trauma. So that may not stay. And we have Reverend Rachel coming up after that. And let's get out of here. In love. Alex. Let's sing our song, folks.
Well, let's stand up for this.
Sorry. I got you.
Ready?
One.
It's a new day. Today is a new life. My way. The day are no match for me. I take my faith and fly because I know that I am creating my own destiny. The past is gone, it has no power here. Feel the mighty force and spirit inside the spin. So I choose to grow, yes I choose to thrive. The longing will not leave me behind. It's a new day, today it's a new life. My way, the doubts they are no match for me. I take my faith and fly because I know that I am creating my own destiny. Right here, right now, I claim that I am whole. There is nothing else that I need to know. So I affirm my word, yes, I'm deserving love. God's goodness abounding in love. It's a new day, today it's a new life. My way, now they are no match for me. I take my faith and fly because I know that I am creating my own destiny. As I believe it, so it will be.